What's going on, everybody? I need to do a quick follow-up video on this Ozark Trail Multitool. It's the new one sold, I believe, exclusively by Walmart. I needed to do a quick follow-up on a pretty significant design flaw, or kink in the armor, if you will, in my opinion. This is not the original multi-tool I did the review on. The original one had a failure due to this design flaw. And so I took it back thinking maybe, hopefully it was just a dud, a mistake, and this one would not perform the same. It would not have that failure. But it did start to, and I did not take it all the way. Because I do think it's still a decent multi-tool. It's just not for heavy use like you would think. It's got the big plier heads that are comparable to the Leatherman Surge, which you would think would be a good multi-tool for heavy duty use, but with this design flaw, I don't think it can be used that way, unfortunately. So I'll show you what I mean. Set this down. Okay. So, see if I can point this out. Right here, you see this piece that runs all the way down. But this is what basically stops the handles when you squeeze them from going all the way back. And I'll show you a little diagram, crude diagram I drew of what that actually looks like. Alright, so you see the cross shape right here. That is represented right here, and all that does is it goes through these liners, these metal liners, and the scale, and it goes protrudes a little past it, not much, doesn't protrude past the scale, just the liner. And that is the only thing that is stopping this whole piece from popping out. And if you squeeze those handles hard enough, it will pop out, making the actual plier head useless. And I'll tell you why I think this is such a failure in a second. Alright, so what I did with the original one, I was working on a project. There it is, opened up. I was working on a project and I was cutting a nail, not a particularly big one. And you're like, that's abuse. You shouldn't be cutting nails with this thing. It's meant for, small gauge wire, really. And yes, you would be right, but the plier heads being as big as they are, you would think it'd be able to handle it. Well, the plier heads were not the problem. It's got these great big old cutters, which I think are great. I wish Leatherman would have the same ones that are that big. On the Surge they pretty much are, but all the rest of them, like the Wave, they're pretty tiny actually. So I was thinking this should be able to handle it, and it should have been. The plier heads are fine, like I said. It's the design right here. Let me see. Okay, you'll only be able to see it on the inside. It's that design right there. If you squeeze hard enough on these pliers trying to cut something, that will pop out. It will pop out all the way out here. And you can unscrew these and pop it back in, but after that happens, you can pretty much count on it easily popping back out. Now, the reason I know this should have been able to handle it, because this $3.87 one from Walmart, the cheap Ozark Trail one as well, was able to cut that nail. This one was able to do it. This one failed, which I thought was pretty disappointing. So that design flaw right there is what it boiled down to. Let's see if I can get this. Those things popped out and over the scale. You can see what it looks like there. And that is the only thing that is stopping these handles from going, you know, flat with each other when you squeeze. And you can even tell if you squeeze hard enough, you can tell that it kind of, you know, it would do it probably if you squeezed hard enough just by squeezing, not even trying to cut something. That's going to make it pop out even faster. Which is really disappointing because these had great potential. And I still think it's a good multi-tool, but it's just not good for heavy duty use in my opinion. It's got a great can opener. See if I can show you that. See, all the tools come. You can access them from the outside, which I think is fantastic. But this can opener works exceptionally well. I used it many times now. It's actually got a sharp edge, Victorinox style, except for the little flat head that the Victorinox have. This one does not, but it actually works. It's got a very fantastic awl. Let's see if I can pop that out. Unfortunately, some of these tools on the inside, you've got to open the others. None of these tools are locking, like I said, but that awl is a pretty wicked awl. See if I can get that to focus. Yeah. Come on now. Alright, well, it's going to give me a hard time, evidently. Set it down, I can do it that way. Alright, that's a pretty wicked awl right there. It's actually paper cutting sharp, believe it or not. You catch that at the right angle, and you can easily cut paper with it. And so, I was able to do a little bit of feather sticking with it, even though it's not meant to do that. It's sharp enough to do that. So, this multi-tool, my point is, it's got some great design features for a $10 multi-tool. And they've obviously been paying attention to the Leathermans and Gerbers and, you know, the bigger companies, and trying to put some of those design features into this one and give it to you for a cheap price. $10, anybody can afford that, and you have a decent multi-tool for the price. Like I said, none of these tools are locking, but it's a slip joint style, so they're not just going to easily pop out, you know. Like the older Leathermans, they didn't even have this much retention, I guess you would say. So, it works. I actually still EDC this one a lot, you know, just because I pay too much money for my Leathermans. If I break them, sure, they'll replace it. If I lose them, that's a whole nother issue. If they're confiscated for some reason, I'm definitely out $100. So you don't have to worry about breaking or losing this one. You can easily replace it. But I was just really disappointed because the pliers are your main feature of a multi-tool. That's the big deal right there. And I can live with a few of these other tools not being that great, but you've got to be able to have a good pair of pliers. And the sad part is the handles, you know, the actual use is comfortable. This feels good to use. They're definitely comfortable. They've got a little bit of jimping there, you can see. So it's grippy. This is smooth. It's not going to slip out of your hands. Very comfortable use. And they're spring loaded. Really like that as well. But you've got that design flaw, which I thought was really disappointing because these had a lot of potential. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to follow up with that. I thought it was important. I don't want to recommend something and then somebody's like, oh, well, it just broke on me in 5 seconds, you know. So I need to be able to be honest with you guys and, you know, give you the ups and downs of every product, because everything is not 100% good. It's going to have some give and take, you know, even if it's a very expensive product, even Leathermans. So anyway, guys, that's about it. I'm gonna have some more videos coming soon. I've been fooling around with some makeshift stands for the camera and everything. So far it's kind of working out good right now actually, but I have some more videos coming soon. I just wanted to be able to do them in better quality and not have so much shakiness. So anyway guys, I appreciate it, and I will have you something cool, really cool, coming up in the very soon future. Until then guys, be on the lookout for that, and God bless. I'm out.